Saturday, May 17, 2014. This is Mercedes Diesel Guy, and this is my 1991 Volkswagen Vanagon. One of those rare days when I'm actually going to do some work on the Vanagon today, and I'm not sure if this video is going to turn out to be a complete DIY for the job or not, but today I'm going to be replacing the gas tank, which is original to the van and as such is 23 years old. So I actually have a new tank. Let me show it to you. Here it is, and here's all the associated hardware. The pickup tube for the center actually was on back order for a few weeks, so I've had the tank for probably almost a month now, but just this week I finally got all the parts together. So my first task is going to be to raise the van up, because the fuel tank is kind of right down there, front and center. So I am going to raise the front of the van, then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, I have the van up on ramps now, which I think will be enough elevation for the job, and if it turns out it's not, I can always raise it up further and use some jack stands kind of right along that portion of the body right there. So my next step from here is actually to drain the fuel tank. I'm actually going to go through the gas tank filler to get as much out as I can, and I know I won't be able to get everything. You know, that's what I'm going to do, and get as much out of there as I can before I try disconnecting the tank. I actually still have the tank draining. The suction hose I had wasn't getting anywhere near deep enough into the tank to even pick up any fuel. So what I ended up doing was, since I already have the van raised, I got under the van and I pulled off the feed hose for the fuel pump, and I've been draining out the tank that way, which is going to get most of it. So while that's still draining, I'm actually going to take out the fuel filler tube. And you can see there's 3 Phillips head screws in here, and 1 flathead right here, which goes to this vent tube. And once those are out, the fill tube should pull straight out of the tank, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that now. Next, I also have to take these vent tubes off the vent tank up here. And you got to do that on both sides of the van. So you can see I've already sprayed some penetrant on there, and I'm trying to loosen that clamp. And this other hose on the left here is actually zip tied in place, so I'll just cut those to get the hose off. And once you have the vent lines disconnected above, you need to release the hoses from the tank down below. This here is the return hose. This is on the driver's side. And over here is the feed hose, which is on the passenger side of the tank. So once you have those disconnected, and those are on the rear, you remove these bolts. Now there's 1 on each bracket on the front of the tank. So you remove those, and at that point the tank should just drop down. At which point you can disconnect the electrical connector from the fuel level sender, and disconnect anything that might remain that you'd have to in order to get the tank down. So I'm going to do those things and do my best to get the tank out of here. I have the old tank out now, and I have prepped the new tank. It was quite a chore to wrestle the old tank out of there. Mostly, even raising the front of the van up as far as I could, it was still difficult to remove the 2 retaining straps underneath the tank. And even then, the tank kept hanging up on various hoses. I have a new vent tube here to go in, and the old one looks like it's routed above the coolant lines and other stuff. So I'm going to have to put this in place first before I raise the tank. I have transferred the old fuel tank sending fuel gauge sending unit to the new tank. Now normally, if you're doing this job, I would recommend getting a new one, but I actually had this replaced just a few years back. It's still in good shape, and I didn't see the reason to spend money on a brand new one. I had that done when I had the old tank out to be resealed, which was like I said, it was a few years ago, but it was before I actually had problems with the tank. What else? I've transferred over these plastic lines and added new rubber line here, and I've installed the new tank grommets. So basically my task from here is to get the new vent tube in place, and then to lift the tank up and start hooking stuff up. So I apologize for not really showing you any more of the job there, but it's not a logically difficult job, but it's definitely not easy. One thing I will recommend is trying to hang the tank in place as best you can before you seat the vent tube and the filler vent into the grommets on the top of the tank. So that's the only bit of advice I have left. So I've got the new tank installed, and I'm going to give you a startup to finish this video. So this is Mercedes Diesel Guy. Thanks for watching, and here's a startup.